Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Homeopathy Hangouts. Today, we are hanging out with Jasmine Hinton, a client I've been working with for a couple of years, who's going to be sharing her story with us on how she got into homeopathy. Warm welcome to you, Jasmine.
Hi, I'm really excited.
Great. So, can I just first start off by asking you how you got into homeopathy and how you heard about it, and what's your journey been so far?
Sure. So I first heard about homeopathy through, I think a lot of people know her, Shona McFox, the Flame Keeper. She runs some women's circles. So a long, long time ago, we used to work together on a farm, and I had a cold one day, and I asked her if she had a cold and flu tablet. I was like, I just feel awful. I've got a headache. I just really need a cold and flu tablet. And she's like, you don't. I've got something way better. And I was very skeptical. And she got her Owen's book out and she had a think, had a flick through, gave me some homeopathics, and she goes, take them home and take the dose and see how you feel. And that was it. I was convinced. The next day I was completely fine. I didn't have a fever. I didn't have a sniffly nose. I wasn't coughing. I was 100%. Whereas normally I would take cold and flu for 3-4 days, still feel a bit awful, a bit rubbish. So yeah, that's how I found out about it. It was Shona. So
Wonderful. Oh, well, thank you, Shona. And there's a plug there for our business as well, which is great. That's wonderful. And then how did it happen that you found me, and what's been your journey through there? So that your introduction with Shona, that was the first time you'd ever used homeopathics, or had you ever used it as a child?
I had never heard of homeopathic. So my mum used to, which I never knew this. I only found this out a couple of weeks ago. She used to use homeopathics on us as kids, along with her essential oils and, the cut the half the onion and put the garlic here and all those things she's used forever, but she never talked to us about it. So I wasn't aware of it until Shona told me about it. And Shona also knew that we were going through a lot of fertility struggles. I had actually just lost a baby through the IVF process. And she said, look, I really think that you should see Eugenie and just have a chat and see how you go. But she said she can help you. She's helped people. And I thought, and honestly, I was like, yeah, right. This lady's going to be like weird and like try and give me weird things, and it's not going to work. It's just not. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to work. But I came to you anyway. Very, very skeptical, because by that, just a little bit of background for people, it was about 4 years trying to conceive when we came to you. We had tried acupuncture, we'd tried the IVF. I actually travelled to Indonesia to see an acupuncturist who specialises in fertility and who has this amazing track record. That didn't work. Just everything. I went to a nutritionist, a dietitian. I everything that you could imagine. Both Trent and I completely changed our lifestyle, our diet, everything, and we just still weren't successful. We then went down the IVF route and it destroyed my soul, but my body, it's poison. You take, and I understand some people need that, and I was in that position. I was that person, and it's awful knowing that you're injecting yourself with this. It just makes you feel awful, and your body goes through so much. It was traumatizing, to be honest. But that was the point that I came to you. So it was March that we had lost our IVF baby.
And 2019, hey?
Yes, March 2019. So I came to you, and we had a really good chat. I felt comfortable with you straight away, and I was really hopeful, very skeptical, very skeptical. I was like, this is like she's amazing, she's so beautiful, like, oh, she's gorgeous, but she's just nothing's gonna happen. Well, lo and behold, 3 months later, I had a little baby in my belly. So,
I have got goosebumps all over as you're saying that. It's just, and I just remember you and Trent coming in there and sitting there, and the love that you guys have for each other. It's so special. That it was electric, the energy between the two of you.
sorry,
And you're going to make me. No, you're going to make me teary as well. And I just, it was amazing taking your case, and just so heartbreaking at the same time. Seeing this couple in front of me with just this incredible love, and you are so amazing with children anyway, and you work professionally with children, and it just seems so cruel and crazy that you guys have gone through this struggle, but everything happens for a reason. And what I remember about your case is that was a little bit different. I thought, wipe the tears away too. It was a little bit different to some of my other cases because often I use a protocol from a very world-famous Australian homeopath called Liz Laylaw. She has this fertility protocol that she has an 87% success rate with. And I often use this protocol right from the start with my clients, but you were a little bit different.
Yes, I had to get all of that awful, mucky everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there were some things that had happened in the past, and we actually, instead of addressing the fertility, I remember saying to you, look, there's some things that we're going to have to sort out for you first. And there was a remedy that we gave to you specifically for you to address something that had happened. And I think once we had that right remedy there, your body, there was no issues, because I remember you saying from tests and stuff like that, they were saying there was nothing wrong with you and Trent. There was no reason why this shouldn't be happening, but energetically there was something there. And once we found that remedy to help get in under that, that was really where the magic happened, and we didn't even have to use the fertility protocol with you. So it was a very special case for me, actually.
It was incredible. I actually remember what it was. I had been told when I was 20 something that I was never going to have kids. That's what it was. And then clearing that, and then there was a whole heap of things. Obviously, the trauma from the IVF and all those things in my body, and and I didn't even know that I was pregnant because I didn't believe you. I didn't know I was pregnant, and the only reason I found out is because, and this is going to upset people, but I had to have a vaccine for work. And I didn't want to get it anyway because we were trying to fall pregnant. But the day before, my friend at work sent me a text message, and she goes, look, I don't know why, I just have a feeling you need to take a pregnancy test before tomorrow because I just don't want something to be there or something happening. And I was like, I've been doing this for 4 years. I know I'm not pregnant. Like, I'm not pregnant. I'm not. It's fine. And I took the test and I texted her back and I said, yeah, I'm not going to be coming with you tomorrow. And she was like, does that mean what I think it means? And I was like, I haven't told Trent yet, but yeah, I can't come with you tomorrow because it's dangerous for pregnant women to get. So
I didn't even know this part of the story. This is new to me, so that's so cool.
That's how I found out. That's how I found out. And he was 6 weeks. I was 6 weeks pregnant. Remember them going, they're like, do you know how pregnant you are? And I was like, no, I stopped tracking everything and my cycles. Like, I just don't, no idea. No idea. And they're like, oh, you're actually 6 weeks along. Like, there's an actual baby. And I remember Trent and I went together and Trent was like, is that real? To the lady.
It's so beautiful.
Like, yeah, it's real. It's there. And
amazing.
It was.
And how old's your bubby now? He had his first birthday a little while ago now. So
16 months.
16 months. Oh my gosh. Absolutely beautiful. It seems like so long ago, but still just the other day. Hey, now with so you then did the homeopathy course, like the introduction course that I teach before you came to see me. Hey, or did you do that afterwards?
No, so I did it before you came to see me, but I also go back to it all the time.
Wonderful.
A lot of information to take in, and I think especially when you're a parent of a young child, you get different things each time. So I think I've watched it about 4 times now, but each time something else will click and I'll go, oh, okay, like that. That's the thing. Oh, okay, I need like this, like that makes sense now. Or
yeah. Wonderful.
So, it's really helpful.
So how have you, because that's part of my mission is actually empowering mums to use homeopathy for themselves, so that if there's a fever that comes up or a cough or whatever, you've got that power in your hands to help your child yourself. So can you tell us some of the things that you've used homeopathy for in your household?
Everything. Honestly, everything. And William asked now, and he knows which one, doesn't know, but he knows the spot where his bedtime ones are, for instance, because he's on a prescription at the moment. So he knows where those ones are, and okay, like, I need to take that, Mum. And like in the morning, they're like, "Excuse me, I can see it on the bench."
And they love their little pillules, don't they?
Oh,
nice and sweet.
Yeah, love them. But yeah, for everything. So I've used it for sleep. He had a few issues with sleep. When I remember, so with COVID and everything, Trent ended up being home for the first 5 months of his life off of work. And I remember I called you desperate one day because William was not coping. He did not cope with that immediate separation because Trent worked FIFO. So he was just he's this person who had just been the three of us for this 4 months because nobody else was coming in and out of our house. He just left, and William didn't cope at all. So he went on a prescription at that age, and that really helped. And I still use that now each time Trent goes away, and I've noticed that instead of a week of William mourning, because it's morning, his dad.
Yeah.
Because he wakes up in the morning, he's like, no, daddy, like, where is he? Instead of a week, I've noticed that we've got it down now to about a day, 2 days, using the homeopathics. But I use it, honestly, like when he has a bit of a cough, I'll give it to him. He's got a severe allergy to egg, so I use it if he has an exposure. Yeah, I've used it for all sorts, bumps on the head, scratches, like everything.
I'm going to guess some teething as well. Homeopathy often gets its laurels with teething babies, and it's nothing like a screaming baby teething, and you don't necessarily always want to give them lots of Panadol for that, although that absolutely has its place. But sometimes chamomilla or a belladonna can really quickly relieve that pain, and it's so nice when you can give that to them as a first instance.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember talking to you about that in the past as well. I don't know where we fell away, but there was a period. William had to be hospitalised for a period because I hate this term, but failure to thrive. We've lost a little bit. He was fine. So we fell away a little bit from homeopathy while we're in the hospital because it wasn't supported, and that's a whole nother issue. Won't go there. It was supported for me to use and encouraged for me to use, but they weren't quite sure about the baby. We fell away a bit, and we got into the habit of giving Panadol and it wasn't working. Like, it would relieve him a little bit, and then he'd need another. It just wasn't working. So he did come back to it when he was teething. I said to Trent, I can't keep giving him all this Panadol, all this Nurofen, and there was like some other thing that they were giving us to, and I just couldn't. So we stopped it all for 24 hours and did just homeopathics. He was fine. He was happy, he wasn't grizzly. He responds really well to it. So even now that he's a little bit older, he's not teething so much. We still do homeopathics first always. And then if we do need to, or will we use both? But yeah, if we do need to use both, then or feel that we need to use both, then we will. But homeopathic first always.
I'm so glad that you've mentioned that, because that's one of my other mantras that I really try to get out there is for parents to understand it doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be pharmaceuticals or natural medicine. You can use the best of both worlds. You can use them together. Homeopathy doesn't have any contraindications. So you can use it alongside the Panadol. Say, for example, you have to give the Panadol. You can give, say, a homeopathic liver support to just support their livers while they're using the pharmaceutical medication. If you have to give antibiotics, there are remedies that can help to restore the gut flora afterwards. Some children have reactions to certain medications. We've got homeopathic remedies that can help with that. So I love that you have brought that topic up, because I so want mothers to understand it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can actually use the two alongside. And a lot of mums find, as they become more confident with using homeopathics, that where previously they would resort to antibiotics straight away, for example, for recurring earaches, as they become more comfortable with homeopathics, they are often very able to stop the earache in its tracks, and it's not suppressing it. What we're actually doing with homeopathics is we're stimulating the body's innate healing ability to heal itself. So you're not suppressing the symptoms of the earache, you're actually just strengthening the body for it to heal itself. And every time they're able to avoid those unnecessary antibiotics, their child's body and immune system becomes a lot stronger. And also with things like antibiotic resistance, which is quite happens quite often these days, we're able to kind of bypass a lot of that. And even a lot of doctors these days don't actually recommend routinely using antibiotics for ear infections. So I often hear about mums saying their child had a viral infection and the doctor prescribed antibiotics, which obviously is not going to help a lot. So if we are able to, get in there with the homeopathics, empower that mum. You might not necessarily want to go to the emergency room at 2 a.m. for something that's probably a little bit mild. So, if you can just treat, for a classic example, I think would be a viral rash. Quite often, it's something in our little Facebook group where, where we support mums with homeopathy. Often I'll see pictures there. What's this rash? Mums will get really upset about it, but often it's just a viral rash as the body's pushing out toxins through the skin. And where a mum might immediately rush to the emergency room because it might be confused with other more serious illnesses. If you have, say, for example, belladonna at home and you give a couple of doses and the rash goes, then it has just got that peace of mind straight away, instead of rushing to the doctor straight away, especially these days with COVID and a lot of restrictions in place. The hospitals and the medical centres might not necessarily be the safest place. They might be overloaded. So it's nice when you've got that first defence that you can use at home. And at any stage, if you're in doubt, head straight to the doctor's, head straight to the emergency room, but you've got something as like a first-line defence. And now I'm babbling. So tell me.
It's very true. It's very true, because we've done that where we fell away a little bit and we were rushing. I felt like we were rushing into the hospital and sit there for hours, and then they say, oh, it's a virus. Okay, so what do I do? What do I do? Whereas with homeopathy, there's always something you can do. There's always something you can take. There's always something you can do and it does work very, very quickly.
It does work very quickly.
Yeah, you're right. You don't have to rush. You can use it, and if you're still, like in the early stages, I would give it a few hours. So I'd do the 4 doses, and if I didn't see an improvement, then I would go to Panadol.
Yeah, go see. Absolutely.
Whatever I needed. But yeah, it's interesting talking about confidence. As I get more confidence, I go, oh no, I know with William, with him taking homeopathics, if he's got a cold, for instance, I know that he needs a day. And then he has a significant improvement, but I know that it'll slowly improve across the day. But to see a dramatic improvement will take him usually 24 hours. Whereas before I'd be like, I've given him 1 dose and it's been half an hour and nothing's happened. Well, it's not how it is. It's not how it's supposed to work.
I love that you've brought that up. So let's go into that conversation next. So when you're completely new to homeopathy, it really is like learning a new skill, like learning to ride a bike, like learning to paint, like learning to do anything in life. It's a new skill that you're acquiring that you're going to be using for the rest of your life. But what were some of the things that you found really confusing or really tricky when you first started out on your homeopathic journey?
I found it overwhelming when people would help. It's hard because sometimes you need the help, but also I would post, I was that mum who'd be like, oh my goodness, he's got this awful, horrific rash, or, I think he was about 2 weeks old, and I was like, my baby's got the most horrific case of conjunctivitis. I have no idea what to do. And I found it overwhelming when people I don't know. I think you know your child and you know innately what they need. But I found it overwhelming when people would say, oh, look here, look here, look here, look here. And you're just like, oh, my goodness, but where do I look? How do I get the information? But you've made it so easy because as soon as I got my Owens book from you, I knew where to look. And it was more a case, I use the Facebook group now to be like, hey, my son's bumped his head. I'm using this, this, and this. These are his symptoms. This is, you know, what's been going on for the last 24 hours. Is there anything that I might have missed? Someone will say, oh, try this remedy. And it's great because I can go into my book and have a look. But I think in the beginning, don't get bogged down too much in trying to research all these different places and all these different things. Just get your Owens book and obviously your like the
online course,
the course that you've done. Definitely do the course and redo the course. It's a new skill you have to learn. You know, it's not taught. It's not spoken about in your home as a child. You're not going to learn it.
Exactly. It's not something that comes natural to a lot of us because obviously the idea of homeopathy and what it's based on is completely different to allopathic medicine or mainstream medicine. So, you know, we look at the whole person, we look at the mental, emotional, the physical, the spiritual, their environment, their diet, what you know stresses them out, what makes it better, what makes a symptom worse. So it's a very holistic approach. So it is a completely different way of looking at things rather than, hey, I've got hay fever, I need to take an antihistamine, like just knock the symptoms in the track. In homeopathy, obviously, we look at when did the hay fever start, what happened around that time, what makes it better, what makes it worse, all those sorts of things. So it is a very, very different way of looking at things, and you almost have to rewire your brain. Your whole paradigm needs a bit of a shift, and that can be really hard. I just want to clarify something because you've said the Owens booklet. So for those of our listeners who might not know what it is, I just want to clarify. So we have a wonderful homeopath here in Perth called Jan Owen, and she has a super helpful little booklet. It's a very, I don't have one here because I'm in the naturopath's clinic today recording this, but just a very handy little handbag-sized booklet that you can carry around with you. And she also has incredible free information on her website. Yeah. So there are some other books that I really love as well. Dana Ullman has a good one. Miranda Castro has a great one. But basically, one of the best ways to get into homeopathy is to get yourself a booklet that you can use as a reference guide. So obviously we have our Facebook group, which very soon is going to move off Facebook onto our own membership, and we have free advice in there. But like you said, sometimes it can almost be overwhelming because if you say my child has this and this, everyone who's giving you advice is giving it from their perspective, you know. So sometimes it's nice having that reference book and you can just look under the cough section, identify the type of cough your child has, what makes the cough better, what makes it worse. So yeah, I love that you said that. Definitely have a booklet handy because that's what you're saying made you feel more empowered.
Yeah.
Once you had the book.
Definitely. As soon as I had the book, I felt like I was on it. Like I was on top of this, I had this, like I can do this now. Whereas before I was kind of like I was using homeopathy, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And like you said, it's a very holistic approach. And I think when you've been raised with pharmaceutical medicine as the first point of call, it's very easy to ignore things. So, for instance, with William and his prescription when Trent was going away, and that I didn't pick up that that's what it was at all. You did. I didn't pick that up at all. I was like, oh, he's fussy. He's become fussy. He's not eating. He's not sleeping. He's not settling. He's really clingy. He must be teething, or, you know, his digestive system. Something's wrong with his digestive system. And it's not until you get into the habit of thinking about the whole person. I think Owens is really good for that too, because even if you look under coughs, it'll say, is the child clingy? Or is the child wanting to be held and then put down and then picked up and put down? Or is the child...
do they ask for something and then throw it away?
Yeah, ask for things and throw it away. You think like, well, yeah, they're a kid. But then when you actually watch and observe your child, you're like, wow, this is... Like, and the book is right there, and it's so simple because you just look at coughs and all of the remedies for coughs. teething, all
Brilliant.
the remedies for teething. And you can sit there, and I've done it many a time in my living room, just watched William for half an hour, and gone, yeah, okay, actually I'm really confident now because I've been looking at my book and I can see that this is, he's doing all of these
Matches him.
behaviors, all of these symptoms. And it's so cool. It's the best feeling ever when you then give your child that dose of whatever they need and they're fine, or they get better really quickly or recover really quickly. You just think like, oh, wow, like I did that.
It's so, and you know what? I have obviously got 2 kiddies now. My oldest is about to turn 10 in 2 weeks' time. It's very scary for me going double digits. But I remember so well when he was a baby and he was my first. And it's scary when you have your first child and it's like, they hand you this baby and it's like, uh-oh, what do I do now? Like they don't come with a manual and then they get sick and it can be there's so much conflicting information out there on what to do with your baby. It can be really, really scary times. And if you get to have a win like that with homeopathy where, okay, my baby has, Trent's left, baby is sad, I'm guessing it was Ignatia that we gave him, which is a great remedy really good remedy for grief and loss.
It worked almost instantly. This colicky baby that I had all of a sudden after 4 months, I was like, oh, he's got colic. I don't know what I was thinking. He's fine. He's absolutely fine.
And I think Trent ended up taking the Ignatia as well because, in Perth, we have a lot of what we call FIFO families, fly in, fly out. A lot of them work in the mines, so they're away from their families for several weeks. It's actually really hard on the dads as well. So, and I know Trent was finding it hard.
And then we all take it before he goes to. I actually found that, and I know sometimes if you're taking something without needing it, it can lead to that. But you do start the grieving process, before he flies out. There is a definite energetic shift in our household. And even in myself, I go to ceremony before he leaves, but that all gets picked up on, like why is mum saging us every 5 seconds, and like why are we lighting candles every 5 minutes now instead of once a week, and those. But I've found that helps as well, doing it before, and then when Trent goes, we're all just more settled.
And I think something that's so important to mention as well is obviously homeopathy doesn't suppress any symptoms. So when you're looking at grief, whether it's a change of circumstance or an end of a relationship or somebody leaving or anything like that, you need to feel those feelings. You need to feel that sadness. You need to feel that grief. It's all part of the process. We don't want to suppress any of those feelings. But what I feel like what homeopathy does, especially that remedy Ignatia, not to be confused with echinacea for our listeners. Ignatia is Ignatia, and it's made from the St. Ignatius bean. And when you give that remedy, when I take it for grief and things, I find it just kind of lifts me, like it makes me feel, okay, everything's going to be all right. It doesn't suppress any of those emotions. Like when my dad passed away last year, I used a lot of Ignatia. And I found it never made me not feel sad. It just made me feel that it was going to be okay.
Yes.
And do you find something similar?
Yeah, for sure. Like I describe it as a settled feeling. So whereas before I would be quite agitated and William would be quite agitated and he would get frustrated easy and he'd want to be held and cuddled but not touched. So he just lived in his carrier all the time because he wanted that closeness and that connection, but he didn't want to be touched. Whereas with taking it, he'll seek out that comfort in a more positive way, like he'll sit and have a cuddle or want to play next to me or things like that, just more settled and not so agitated and clingy and crying for him. And then same with Trent and I don't feel like you said, I don't know, I just feel settled, like like this is awful.
I love that word that you've used. I completely agree. It's a hard one to describe. But when you it's something that you have to kind of experience. And that's what I always feel with a lot of people who are very skeptical about homeopathy. I'm like, well, just try it because it's something that you kind of have to experience. I just want to ask with Trent as well, because sometimes the dads can be a little bit hard to get on board. So how was he with with homeopathy, and have you managed to get him around? Because we're the ones that were with our children most of the time. We see a crying, teething, upset child, give them a remedy, suddenly they're better. But often the dads are not around to see that, so sometimes it takes a bit more convincing. But what's Trent's thoughts on homeopathy, and have you managed to get him on board?
I think for Trent, he had a lot of trauma around us not being able to conceive, and there's a lot of pressure for him. Like, there's a lot of that talk from his family is very old fashioned. Like, you're the last of your name, and you need to. There was so much pressure for him that he carried that across into fatherhood. So when William was tiny, if ever anything at all slight, like if he had a slight sneezed once, Trevor, he needs to have this because he's going to get sick, and he needs to have Panadol. Whereas now that William's a little bit older and I've just consistently been using the homeopathy, now I can be like, oh, Jazz, he's a bit fussy today, and like he's doing this and this. Do you want to crack out your homeopathics?
Brilliant. And I remember that milestone of my son reached 1 year old. I was like, yes, I've kept him alive for a year. And then you just build up more confidence after that, because, when they're so tiny and it's your first, it can be so scary, hey? And I think that's where my passion comes from. It's just helping mothers have something in their hand, giving them those skills to help their little ones when they're struggling, because none of us want to see our children sick. We don't want to see them struggling. But if we've got something safe and effective on hand that can help them, it empowers us as mothers. It helps our children, and I think it creates for more stronger families that are actually feeling empowered and knowing they've got this. Because women have been the healers for millennia, and I feel like we've lost a lot of that confidence these days.
Yeah, for sure. We're told not to be confident. We're told that we don't know. But I think, touching on what you said as well, I think it's brought us closer and more connected as a family because we're so in tune with each other now. Just so in tune with each other. So, yeah, it's amazing. And also, one thing I have to say with this that I love about homeopathy is when you go away with children, and we go remote a lot of the time, instead of packing Nurofen, Panadol, 10 syringes, allergy medication, like all these things, I just take my one little, it's about this big, that.
Yeah.
Put my Owen's book in, and that's what I take. And it has everything that we're going to need in an emergency in it, from bumps on the head, colds, and then
mosquito bites.
Mosquito bite.
Yeah.
Literally anything that happens, you've got this little case that's about this big, and you book, and you don't need an internet connection to look up, oh, my kid's got this fever or this whatever, like, should I give them? That's all you need. That's all you need.
What you have said is gold. I am so glad that you've said that, because there's nothing like, going camping. You don't know where the nearest doctor is, the nearest hospital, where the nearest pharmacy is. And sometimes even I feel like if you are prepared, that actually solves like 90% of your problems. If you know, okay, if anything happens, I've got stuff here that can help, then you are more relaxed. Your whole energy changes. Whatever happens, I'm empowered, and chances are more likely you're probably not even going to need it. But knowing that you've got something there, just having that empowered feeling is brilliant.
Definitely, it's priceless. It really is priceless. I'm definitely of the converted to homeopathy. I was so skeptical, and then I was like, oh wow, like this, all of it. It's. And people go, oh, yeah, like maybe it was a coincidence, or maybe it just happened to be this. But it's happened too many times now to be a coincidence.
I hear you. I am so glad that you've said that. Before we start wrapping it up, because I could very easily chat with you all day, what is there any last messages that you want to share with us, or any other stories you want to share with us? And I also, while you're thinking about it, giving you a couple of seconds there, want you to finish up with your 3 top remedies that you can't live without, and why. You're on the spot.
Oh my gosh, 3 top remedies. Belladonna, because it just fixes everything. Igniter for the same. For the same, it's very useful for our family. We just go through so much of it. And actually, for me and Trent, we've just started using the last 2 months the shipwork remedy.
Oh, wonderful.
And I can't imagine not having that now. So I am not a shift worker, obviously. But William went through a stage where he was only sleeping 4 hours broken a night. And he went through that stage for about 12 months. And I didn't think to help myself. Didn't think, of course. I helped Trent, bought it for Trent, got it for Trent. And he was raving about how amazing this thing was, how amazing the shipwreck remedy was. And then I started taking it. And honestly, we feel so much better taking it. And we don't need it all the time. Just need it every now and then when you feel like you need a boost or
absolutely
that you're really struggling. But yeah, those are my 3 that we use almost every day in our house.
I'm so glad to hear that. Anything else that you want to finish off on, or anything else that you want to say?
I think just don't be scared to try, because you can't break them. Unlike pharmaceutical medicine, you can't give them the wrong thing and it have a huge adverse effect. You know, like when I was giving William Nurofen, his stomach was horrific and he would feel awful and gross. You're not going to get that with homeopathic. So just don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to stick to your guns, and you know what's best for your child. You know that you love them and that you're doing the absolute best that you can to help them, and that's enough. So
I think I'm going to get a sore head from nodding, because I have been nodding to everything that you've been saying. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, trust that's my heart's wish for mothers, is to trust their instincts and to listen to their voice.
Yes.
And I love that you said that. Yeah. Well, it has been so lovely to chat with you today. Thank you so much. You're my very first of my interviews of our Mother's Stories section, and I so appreciate spending the time with you. Give William a big hug from me, and thank you so much for your time.
No worries at all. Thank you.
See you later.